Hello everyone, Features 832 back again with another edition of What's on Kickstarter. Looking at what's on Kickstarter this week. And let's get into it here. Obviously there's quite a bit as usual. Whoops. Let's get to the start here. First of all, let's look at the current ongoing projects that we've mentioned before. What is this we business? We got these Wurtzes playing cards for Newts playing cards. 20% funded, 10 hours to go. It is not going to happen. They've been trying to get it funded. They've released a couple different variations of the deck, and it's just not going to happen. I'm not sure how I feel about the additional seats that they've added. I like stars. You know, the moon is fine. There's also the crown, which is fine. And then there's, I think it's a horseshoe. I mean, I guess it's okay. But anyways, it's not going to happen, unfortunately. Next, we got the Bicycle Syndicate playing cards from playingcards.net, designed by Six at this point. Playing cards. It is funded, 47 hours to go. I mean, it's not a bad deck. It's one that I'm more than likely get later on. But it's also very similar to the previous decks that Shapeshifters has designed. Then we got the Lost Spirit playing cards from Triangle playing cards. Funded, 14 days to go. I don't remember much about it. I'm pretty sure I've looked at it before. I just don't remember much about it. Because it's so exciting that it's not worth remembering. Yes. When did I launch, actually? Maybe I haven't looked at this one before. No, I'm pretty sure I've looked at it. It's just so unexciting that I really am too concerned about it. But actually, it's not a bad one. It's got a pretty nice bat design. It's designed by Sam Hales, if I recall correctly. Yes, it is. So that's actually not a bad one, and one I'll probably look to get later on. I do find, I think I mentioned this last week, that the Joker reminds me a lot of the Blade series from DeVoe, which was not designed by him, but very much the same type of Joker as that deck had. Anyways, moving on, we got the Bicycle Antiques from Collectible Playing Cards, 43% funded, 7 days to go. It's not going to happen at this rate, I don't think. It may not. I'm not sure it will, though. Also, by the way, happy Canada Day to everyone in Canada, before I forget. Next up, we got the Lost Deer Forest playing cards by Bokobo. It is funded, 13 days to go. Not one that I'm overly interested in. Antique playing cards by Antique Playing Cards. 71% funded, 17 days to go. Somehow that one looks like it might actually fund. Not particularly a fan myself. Dragonite playing cards by Emmeline Todd is funded, 2 hours to go. Again, not really my cup of tea. Abstract playing cards V1 by Zach Hakimi is funded, 24 hours to go. 45 playing cards by Manos Santa and Cesar Masquerade, is 90% funded, 3 days to go. Looks like it may fund. I wouldn't be surprised if it does at this rate, but it still may not. Muertos Iluminados El Recuerdo playing cards by Agitcom is funded, 19 days to go. Very nice looking deck. Obviously one that I wish would have been in the original project as opposed to being in a separate project. The Goddess playing cards limited edition by Michelle is funded, 2 hours to go. I must have had a very, very low goal. Very unappealing in my opinion. I mean, the artwork, fine, she did well. The back design, however, is horrible. Viking Glory. Next up, we got the Viking Glory playing cards by Card Deck. It is well funded, 3 days to go again. Must have had a very low goal in order to get that high. Then we got Joker and the Thief Street Edition by Joker and the Thief. It is funded, 14 days to go. Definitely worth a look, in my opinion. Then I'm pretty sure I looked at this one last week. Playing cards stylized by Handmade, whatever that's supposed to mean. Designed by or put out there by Christopher Urbano. 2% funded, 20 days to go. It is absolutely not going to happen at this rate, because what you see here is all they're giving you. It ain't much. It's just a couple of sketches of a couple of cards. There's no proper indexes on these cards, so it's not very playable in my opinion. It is what it is. And then there's the Kelly Gang playing cards, which I'm pretty sure I mentioned last week, by Pierre Huter. It's 79% funded, 17 days to go. It's not bad, and I do like those historical type decks. And this one's actually kind of interesting because it's Australian history, which we really don't know anything about because we never learned that in school. We learned the basics. We learned Canadian history, U.S. history, some European history, and that's about it. Green Dragon playing cards, standard edition by Craig Maidment, is well funded. 11 days to go. Not really my cup of tea. Clouded Paper, 54 completely unique playing cards by Elliot Slevin, is 92% funded. 18 days to go. Just a matter of time before that one funds. Definitely not my cup of tea because it's just for cardistry and it's essentially a marked deck. They might as well just have made them double faces for what they are because they're not very usable for anything else. Angry Pussies, limited edition by Handlords, is well funded, 70 minutes to go. I'm going to pass on that one myself, but it's an okay deck for what it is. It's just not much different than the previous version, from what I can tell. Playing cards, The Dark Lords of the Sith by Dan Hainsworth. Pretty sure I mentioned that last week. It is funded, 18 days to go. Very low goal, very little funding at the moment. But it is funded. And, I mean, I think personally it could be a copyright issue. But I don't know, or a trademark issue. But, obviously not my cup of tea. Then there's Starry Sky by X Zone. It is funded, 17 days to go. Again, not personally my cup of tea. Just not overly appealing or overly usable. I like a deck of cards, personally, that is usable. That can be used for playing cards fairly comfortably, or doing tricks, or whatever have you. Let's see what else there is. That's ongoing before we get into the new stuff. And it looks like there is a lot of new stuff. Bad Girl Artwork Sketch Poker Deck Volume 5, and SFW, by the way, by badgirlartwork.com, is well funded, 6 days to go. What, do they have a $1 goal or a $5 goal? That's just absolutely ridiculous. It's, I mean, they put effort into it. The back design is horrible one way. Not my cup of tea. I'm not sure if we even looked at one last week, but there it is. Alright, let's look at what is new this week, and not a whole lot of exciting, unfortunately, from the looks of it. We got the Ruby playing cards by J-Trix playing cards. A whole 5% funded with 28 days to go. I don't think it's going to fund at this rate, but you never know. I'm kind of curious to see if J-Trix might be somebody from another account, but who knows. It's obviously they're going for the cardistry fan base. Going to be printed by USB-C. Not a very exciting tuck case, very plain, simple. And in the back design, feels like something we've seen many times before. It's just not overly exciting to me. If they reach $20,000, there will be red foil inside the tuck case. Oh, good. There is no chance in hell you're going to hit $20,000. $1,000 for 100 decks. It's $10 each. Okay. And actually, if you buy a brick, it's also $10 each. There's a small issue there. Is this something that I've seen in some projects from time to time, and I probably mentioned it last week in a different project. $10 for one, $20 for two, $30 for free. That's not how it generally works. When it comes to playing cards, whether it's Kickstarter or not, generally, the more you get, the less you pay. You're not going to pay the same amount for multiple decks. 2 decks, in this case, probably would have been $18. 3 decks, maybe $26, or, whatever the case might be. I mean, reasonable prices, but not if you're buying multiple, unlike other projects. Also, he's talking about stretch goals to put foil inside the tuck case, but the outside of the tuck case has nothing and nothing exciting about it, so why are you going to put foil on the inside if the outside has no foil? It just makes no sense. $10,000 goal, he's hoping to double it. Yeah, this is not going to fund. This guy's apparently a collector and a magician. It's actually a girl, apparently. Interesting. First created, zero backed. If you're such a collector and a magician, actually no, sorry. Creating premium high quality playing cards for the artist, collector, and the magician. My apologies. She's not saying that she is, or he, or she, whoever it is. But if that is the case, you should do a little more research on what it is that collectors and artists and magicians are looking for. I mean, this does get some backers, but it's not that exciting. Moving on, let's see what's next here. Ah yes, the Stellar playing cards by Coordinates. It is funded, 25 days to go, pretty low goal, I suppose. It's not, I'm not very excited about this one. I'm definitely not getting it. At least I have no plans on it. That's the back design. You know, it reminds me of that Tasty deck, the Tasty playing cards that was on Kickstarter several months ago. Except that one was nicer looking and nicer colors. I could see its design, you know, aimed at artists and whatnot. I do have an issue with the name, Stellar Playing Cards, because that is the name that Vanda is using on their current Planets series of decks. They're calling them Stellar Playing Cards, and this guy has basically ripped off the name, in my opinion, and probably trying to pass it off as part of the series. Not a fan of the court cards. Basically, we've seen one court card. It's a spaceship. There's another one here that looks like a comet or whatever. Black and gold suit colors. Oh, that's something we haven't seen in a while in the tuck case. A cutout. Oh, that's the best part about the whole thing is that hole. The heart suits apparently have planets. I'm guessing the spades have spaceships, including the ace of spades. Interesting color scheme on the faces. Astronaut jokers. Don't know. Looks like the diamonds are comets and the clubs are. I'm only seeing. Oh no, never mind. There's yet a club court card. I'm not sure what they're supposed to be at this distance. I can't really tell. I don't know. It's not one that I'm particularly interested in. What the hell is that? A cracker deck? Good grief. Curious whose videos this is, who's promoting it, but it may fund. Actually, sorry, it may fund. It is funded. Obviously, the card is still interested. It's a minimalist space theme. Not really. I mean, it's somewhat minimalist bat design. The faces are custom, so I wouldn't really call it minimalist per se. It's definitely not the most minimalist deck I've seen, but somewhat minimalist. And it's going to be produced by Hanson Chen Playing Cards. Coordinates first project, zero backed. I do, you know, it bugs me a little bit when you have these creators putting out playing card projects, especially for like cardists and cardistry, and yet they haven't supported any projects themselves. Anyway, moving on. Next, we got the Mardi Gras edition Masquerade playing cards by Brain Vessel Creative. It is 36% funded. 29 days to go. I like it, and I recommend checking it out. This Was originally planned to be in the an add-on, a stretch goal in their original Masquerade campaign. It didn't hit the goal, so it's been launched now. It's designed by Denise Klett, and I like it. It's a nice, colorful, vibrant deck and top case, and the bat design's very artistic, obviously, very artsy. Might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I like it. Check out the review I have on the original. Special thanks to Brain Vessel for sending me that original one. You can also get the black box edition, which is the original one here. The one I got actually is the limited edition one, numbered and whatnot. That's you're not going to be able to find too easily, aside from maybe eBay. Purple for these spades and clubs. That's pretty nice. I like how they kept the indexes black, so you get the red black suits. That's pretty cool. Nice chokers. And this is that my review? I can't even tell. No, it's a Kickstarter video. This is the black box one that you can get. And of course the one that I got, of course, is the original limited edition. But yeah, it's pretty nice. I know someone was commenting that international shipping is expensive. That's often the case with many Kickstarter projects. For me, it's not that bad, actually. So, I'm in. Anyways, and that's saying something because I'm not in on too many Kickstarter projects right now. Only a few. Moving on, I recommend checking that one out. Let's get that one funded. Next, we got the project that has way too many names. Quickstarter, Art of Cardistry, Scorched Playing Cards. Why does it need to be called Quickstarter? On top of that, why does it need to be Art of Cardistry, since it's not really cardistry? It's not a cardistry deck, neither was the previous one they did. But this is by Dylan Prescott. It is 38% funded, 4 days to go. I don't think it's going to happen at this rate. The reason being, $35 for a single deck, and it's NPC printed. I don't think so. Also, they've got people that are waiting on 2 or 3 previous projects, which is obviously turning off backers. Standard faces, that's also a turnoff. The back design is, I mean, it's an okay back design, but not for $35. I'm not paying $35 for that, that's for sure. That's like a $10 back design and deck. Like with the faces and the back design, that's $10. And the tuck case just has the back design on the front. Is that what it is? That's it. That's very minimalist and plain and not exciting. Only 250 are going to be produced, which is a lot, but only a $1,000 goal US for 250 decks. That seems like a pretty low goal, but it is NPC. However, the problem is he's only got 10 backers. And they're not buying up 250 decks, so he is producing way too many decks for what he needs, and he's charging way too much money. And let's break this down very quickly. So far, they had 5 people that pledged for the $25 early bird. Outside of that, 1 person has pledged $25 at the regular price for 1 deck. Only 1 person has pledged $50 for 2 deck early bird. 1 for a free deck early bird at $60. 0 at the 2 deck regular price. And 0 at the free deck regular price, obviously. Only 1 person at the 6 deck early bird for $110 for 6 decks. $110 for 6 decks. You can get a brick for that much on most projects. And the regular price for 6 is $170. Are you freaking kidding me? You can get a brick for less than that at any project. And a brick here was $270. Nobody's pledged for that. $270 for a brick. Are you out of your freaking mind? This guy's nuts. It's ridiculous. It's too expensive. Why anyone supports him at those prices, I don't understand. It's not worth that much. I know it's limited, but just because the deck has limited printing does not make it valuable. It does not make it necessarily rare. This is not Jerry Nuggets. It's not Jerry's Nuggets. It's not, a rare vintage casino deck. And it's certainly not decks that have, appeal to collectors necessarily. It's not something that collectors are going to go, oh, it's limited, I got to have it. It's not happening. Collectors are not buying these because of their rarity or limitedness. Not many anyways. Anyway, moving along, not a fan of it. Next, we got Little Sumo Wrestlers playing cards from Japan by Soulless Choir. Really? A choir is producing a deck of cards. It's 1% funded, 20 days to go. This rate, it doesn't look like it's going to do too good, but let's have a look at what it looks like. The back design is not great. One way, it's got some head in the center, some samurai, sumo guy, samurai. I just made up a new word, samurai. Yeah. Okay, I know it says little sumo wrestlers playing cards, but this looks more like baby sumo wrestler playing cards. Not a fan of the back design. It's being done by a company I've never heard of before, Wingo, which is a professional printing company from over 20 years. They produce at least, is that 2 million games a year, or is that 2,000, or is it 20,000? I don't know. I assume it's 2 million, but that doesn't mean they produce playing cards. It doesn't mean their playing card quality is that good. Look at the man boobs on those guys as well. Apparently there's red and there's blue, and this is not appealing to me whatsoever. I don't think it's appealing to too many collectors or anyone else for that matter. So I would definitely, not get it. It's a $700,000 goal in whatever currency that is, which is $8,300 Canadian, so what, $7,500 US? Not a chance in hell that's going to fund. Moving on, also I'm not sure why it would be that high for some random no-name company I've never heard of before in Asia, I assume. But anyways, next up we got the Angels of Burden. Tasnazat playing cards by Galu Design. 2% funded, 41 days to go. Whenever I see a project that has more than 30 days for funding, I don't have a good feeling about it. It is a $15,000 US goal. That's quite a bit of money for a deck of cards. He's a fan of Figure 11. $13 on the early bird, and there's still 137 of them available. That's not a good sign. They also got $15 on early bird for a second batch. What's that mean? First batch, second batch? You also get a sticker pack with the $15 one. And $18 is the price for the regular deck. Right. The back design looks very pink. Very interesting, but very pink. Not something I would expect, from someone who's a fan of Figure 11 necessarily. Wow, that's it? So you're not showing us someone who's a fan of Figure 11 and the craftsmanship and whatnot. The tuck case does not look like something you achieve from Figure 11. It doesn't look like it has a whole lot of foil or anything. I will say, however, this logo you see on the side, that the side of the tuck case is a complete rip-off of Figure 11 decks. Complete rip-off. The crown type logo, the writing, absolute complete rip-off of a Figure 11 deck. It seems to lack foil and whatnot, and embossing like a Figure 11 deck, however. And we're not really seeing any of the cards here, just these jokers and the back design, which, again, looks like it's ripped off a Figure 11 deck for the most part, except for the color scheme. Not a fan, in my opinion. Not a fan of ripping off Figure 11. Not a fan of what I'm seeing. And I'm not a fan of the fact that they're not showing us any pictures of the faces. Apparently the tuck cases are done locally, whatever that means, and the cards are being printed by USB-C. Right. Anyways, let's move on. Apologize, it's dragging on too much. Next we got Vampirotica Blood Goddess playing cards, movie and photo book by Vampirotica. It is funded, 13 days to go. It's pictures, from the looks of it, of big chested women. uh, it's basically a sexy deck. Let's look at it anyways, why not? And see if there's anything else. There's one more to look at. Right, they're just pictures, it's not even artwork or anything like that. Only $100, $99 US goal. It's pretty ridiculous. The back design is a one-way back design with a very unrealistic, proportionate woman. Oh my goodness. She's some kind of a porn star, I'm guessing. This must be like a deck of cards inspired by a porn star. Oh my goodness. Thank goodness it's censored. That one wasn't. I apologize for the nudity. Let's get out of here. This is just ridiculous. Definitely not interested in fake boobs over there. Moving on, we got the Halloween deck. This is the relaunch, I'm assuming, by Swamp Decks. It is 62% funded, 28 days to go. I was not a fan of it really that much before, and I'm still not really much of a fan, but it looks like it's going to fund at this rate. Just fine. I mean, nothing against the artwork. It's well done. I mean, it's well designed. It's just not my cup of tea, I would say. The artwork on the court cards and whatnot. And I don't really see the back design too much. That's the back design here on the left. Not very good in my opinion. Moving on, we got one that looks much better, which is the Graveyard. Super creepy detailed deck of cards by Musketon. It is 74% funded, 28 days to go. It looks like it was pretty nicely designed. And let's find out. It's colorful. Pretty big goal, 6,000 euros. It's very colorful faces, interesting, nicely detailed tuck case. I'm not liking the faces on the number cards. I appreciate the font and the creativity. There's also a premium deck you can get for 25 euros. No, thank you. I'll stick with the standard one if I was going to get it. There you go. This is what I don't like about the face. I like the detail. There's lots of nice detail in there. However, this is the 8 of hearts. It looks more like a 5 with these pips in the center. And then there's about 13 pips on there, which is not 8, it's 13. Not to mention the indexes. Also, the indexes are nowhere near the corner. And why is there another small 8 underneath this pip? It's like multiple indexes. Like, I don't understand. There's 5 pips in here, and then there's a whole bunch of other pips, none of which add up to 8. It's just not very functional, in my opinion. I don't like the indexes being so far away from the corners. The back design, that's the back design. It's okay on the tuck case, but on the back of the cards, it's very one-way and not that great. Black borders with white faces don't help. Like, I appreciate the font and the creativity of the faces and everything and making them different and unique, but it just doesn't work, from my opinion. If you're going to do live streams, during the creation of the deck. That's pretty interesting, but I would prefer if you had the artwork done already, as opposed to still working on it and live streaming. It's definitely unique, but to do that, who's producing this, anyways? Like, I like what I'm seeing with the court card. I don't like the back design. I mean, what you see on the tuck case looks nice for a tuck case, but that for a back design, I don't like it. And I'm guessing, what is this black card? I'm not even sure if that's supposed to be another deck. If the court cards, they look nicely designed. Way too many pips all over the place. 4 indexes. It's fine, a little bit unnecessary in this deck. And like I said, I don't understand the faces. Like you see that 8 that we were looking at. There's way too many pips. How am I supposed to know without looking at the index what that is? It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. It's like he's got a triplicate of indexes. Yeah. Anyways, that, I believe, is it on Kickstarter for this week. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I know it's a bit of a long video. We'll look at other stuff in the next one. Hello everyone, Videos 832. Did you see that? This thing just went up several $100s in seconds. But anyways, I'm back with one more quick update. A new project has just launched on Kickstarter. Never done this before. But it just launched. It is, why am I wearing these headphones? The Mint 2 luxury playing cards from 52 cards. And look at that. It's going up hundreds of dollars in seconds. It just launched. It's over $100,000 Canadian already. Over $76,000 US. Look at that. It's just going up, up, up. It's ridiculous. There's a few new decks here. There's a special early bird, by the way. Right now, let me get this out of the way here. Right now, on the early bird, there's a day one thing, $13 US. You get 2 decks for the price of 1. So make sure you get over 700 backers on that already. Yes, I'm one of them. The decks in this project are the Blueberry Mint. Right here, the Blueberry Mint. It's a nice blue variation of the previous deck. Apparently they've improved the marking system as well. It looks pretty nice. There's a Cucumber Mint stretch goal, which is a green color, obviously. I'm not sure how much it's going to be. It'll be unlocked if the project receives enough funding. I think they received enough funding already. They have surpassed the stretch goal by now. And there is the Frost Mint, which is a limited edition Kickstarter exclusive, which is a borderless one, which is got blue and black colors. It's pretty interesting. Metallic inks as well. $19 each plus shipping, which is not a bad deal. You can only get a max of a brick per person. And as pointed out, the limited edition Black Mint deck is sold on eBay right now for $150 to $200 a deck. So it should be collectible. It should be worth quite a bit of money later on. Nice faces, interesting design. They are Arco styled. Premium crushed B stock, casino stock. Airless and finish. Traditional cut. Basically, they're going to be nice. And they are selling like hotcakes. Now, the problem is, because they're selling so much and so quickly, I don't know how many limited edition decks, the Frost Mint decks there's going to be, how many they're planning on doing. But at this rate, there's going to be a lot of them, I'm assuming. So I just wanted to quickly point that out. But, I mean, they've already got 1,000 backers, 1,064 backers. If half of them get a brick, that's like, that's tons of decks already. Of those limited edition decks. So they're not going to be that limited, unfortunately. But anyways, that is that. Just wanted to quickly add that on to the previous video. Stay tuned for more. Can we get this paused? Crapola. And, come on. I hate when this happens. Oh, somebody to record it. Something is happening with this, unfortunately. I apologize. There we go. Yes, I can see it now. Thank you. Alright, that's that. I apologize. See you next time with more. Stay tuned for the rest of the What's on Deck.